This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO. We are back. It is Super Bowl week in Miami, Florida. Super Bowl Live. I'm Joe Castello. This is Ignition on WFO Radio, where we're getting ready for the motorsports seasons of NASCAR and Formula One and all of that. Of course, NHRA drag racing, where the Lucas Oil Winter Nationals is just literally like 1 week after the Super Bowl. And so we are focusing our attention. The Super Bowl is in our city, the hometown of WFO Radio, and lots of great stuff going on all around the city. We're going to focus on the big game. We're going to focus on the happenings surrounding it. We're going to talk about issues of the day. And, of course, Rolex 24. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get into all of that. Giovanni in Miami is here. And, oh, by the way, it is his and my birthday week. Thursday for me, Saturday for him. We become considerably older. One more year. That's it.
One day closer to death.
The slow walk to the grave, shuffling along. And at the end of the line, you step down into the 6-foot hole and begin to be buried by your fellow man. And some would say it's already began. But hey, who cares? I'm having a good time along the way, and it is what it is. I'm on the keto, baby. It's all good for me. Down 6 pounds in 1 week.
Woo! Wow, that's almost a pound a day, man. At this rate, you'll be thin by the end of February, by a leap year.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. When I jumped on the scale at the Publix today, I was pretty surprised. Last time I was over there was like 170 and a half, right? And I was happy about that. I was like, all right, I can deal with that. And today, 160, it was really 165. So I've lost 5.5. I rounded it to 6 because it feels better than 5.
165, huh?
Yeah.
I haven't been 165 since like 1996.
No, I know, man. You're a big guy. You're very tall. You've got dense
I'm not
bones.
very tall.
Yeah, you're a big, tall person. You got dense
tall
bones.
compared to
very
you,
wide.
but that doesn't make me tall. I'm only 5'10".
I'm a speedy character. I'm built for speed. I'm like a sports car.
I don't know how much speed. I saw you do the 40 a couple of days ago, and
don't bring that up. That's You're going to a sore spot because you ducked me. That's not.
Well, that's
no, you
not
did.
Exactly
it was really.
True
it was
either,
no.
but...
It really is. It was a very unsportsmanlike move, and I'm very disappointed. And we'll very much talk about that later because you did. You ducked me. You ducked me. You did not
want me to run a second time.
Yeah, I ran a second time. I would have been running a third time. You ducked me.
No, it was the second time you wanted to run. But we don't need to get into all that.
No, we're getting into it. That's part of our story. Is that it is Super Bowl week, and the NFL experience was here, and we went there, and we had a good time, and there was a 40-yard dash, amongst other drills and things to do.
Well, there's like a whole 100,000 square foot convention of stuff to do.
It was great, and we closed that place down. We got our money's worth.
Well, we sure did.
Like we were there for what, like 6 hours?
Yeah, 6 hours. I'd say maybe 5 to 6 hours.
3 to 8:30
Because it was slightly after 3, maybe closer to 4. No, we were there almost till 10 o'clock. It was past 9 o'clock because they were already starting to shut areas of the place down.
Very well done. I thought it was nice. It was very similar to the All-Star Game one. More activities for the NFL than the All-Star Game, baseball. Only because I think it's just so much easier to set up various obstacle courses and kick a football through a upright than it is like doing something with baseball. You can't fire a baseball at a little kid. So it was a good time. We had fun.
What do you mean you can't fire a baseball?
Like, get in there, Jimmy, and you can give him a ball and tell him to run, and what's the worst that's going to happen? Welcome to the Baseball All-Star Game experience. Step into the batter's box as a 100-mile-per-hour pitch gets thrown right down the tube, and you got to stand near it and try to hit off Aroldis Chapman. And then the kid is blinded for life or something terrible. So anyway, speaking of terrible things, the Kobe Bryant, tragedy, accident, him, his daughter, 7 other people killed in one swift swoop. It's something that I believe, everyone, not everybody loves basketball or loves Kobe Bryant or even cares about sports at all. But when you see a tragedy like this, a famous person, it definitely makes you think things, right? You think things. Some people think, why does everybody care about that guy? Some people think about that. Who cares? People die all the time. That's a cynical, sad person.
No, that's a fact, but
well,
I think the deal with Kobe...
To go there first, that's what makes it cynical and sad. When you... Famous people are people that we all know. Well, I don't know Roger, who just died in a car accident.
Well, then that's
very sad, but I don't know.
And we don't really know Kobe Bryant either. We've just seen him, as an athlete, and he's been involved in our lives.
Yeah.
And in this case in particular, someone like him, the thing that I think that most people, see as overbearing is that here's a guy that was 41 years old, just retired, and was starting, his after retirement life, I guess his civilian life, for lack of a better term, and not his professional life. And we look at these athletes that they're, big, fast, strong, and kind of superhero-like in their sports, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, Tiger Woods and golf or whomever. And when they die at a young age, 41, while it's not 21, it's still very young in the great big scheme of life.
Yes.
And so it kind of makes you feel more mortal, is what I would say.
Well, absolutely.
That it brings you, wait a minute, if that could happen to Kobe, it could sure as hell happen to me.
Well, it can happen to all of us. And this is a message that has been a consistent message that I have had for a long time. Like, you have to have perspective on everything at all times, which is why it's a bad idea to sweat a lot of stuff.
Small stuff.
Well, I don't want to say the small stuff because everyone's got their own sizing capabilities, but to take it easy, to be cool, man.
No, look, and I'm a perfect example.
It could all go away tomorrow.
I can generally be cool when big things happen. It's the small stuff annoying me all the time that really gets me worked up. Eventually, well, the drip of water turns into the waterfall.
Getting annoyed, like allowing yourself to be annoyed, like at all, is like, it would be better if you didn't. Like Kobe Bryant. Like, how hard are you all working today? You're working hard, man. You're trying to make it. You're trying to make money to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage, to buy the kid the thing that he wants, that he demands, the education.
The G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip.
Whatever it is, you're working hard. You're trying to get there. You're frustrated. You're not getting there. You're not getting enough. You don't have enough. Or maybe it's even worse than that. Maybe you did. You worked. You hard. You made it. You got it. You got stuff. You're going good. You're buying. You're making. And except the next door neighbor is making 4 times what you're making. Way better. And you're like, oh, my gosh, I felt like I was making it, except now I'm next to this guy who's making it times 4, and I feel like a loser. What's up with that?
You see, that's not the stuff that bothers me.
Right, but there's a lot of people that are bothered like that. That's why, the 50-foot boat, man, we can't get that one. It's got to be 80-foot. Oh, man, the neighbor just got a 90-foot boat. What's up with that? I feel poor, right? None of it matters because Kobe Bryant was richer than most human beings. And
he had traveled around by helicopter.
Avoid the traffic with a helicopter, flying in, flying out, moving in, jumping over the 405. We'll take a helicopter. Oh, guess what? You're dead. Everyone's dead. They're all dead. And now none of it matters. A father, a daughter, a family is going without. And, all of the stuff that people might envy or get. Nope. Nobody envies Kobe Bryant right now. Nobody wants to be in that situation. So all of a sudden, just like that. What was it? Was it a malfunction? Was it an error? None of it matters. Gone. Time over. Dad always says, tour of duty has come to an end. And that's it. And that could happen to any one of us at any time. Now we're about to turn 47, me first, then Gio. I'll turn 47 on Thursday. In lieu of, thank you very much. And it's a different thing, man. It's a different thing. It's not like, oh, man, it's like, oh, how long will? Now, you don't think that. You don't put that at the front of your mind. But you should try to get the most out of everything that happens. Because you never know when it's going to be the last. Now, of course, we should all live to be, 75, 80. Like, good luck to us. But you never know. And so I think this Kobe Bryant situation, like I can tell you that I'm not like a fan of Kobe, but I'm a fan of Kobe. Like I got no beef with Kobe. I don't like, I hope he loses. Just Kobe Bryant, I felt like, I know his story. High school, came out of high school, went to the NBA. He's like, 5 years younger than us, 6 years younger than us?
41. He would have been 42 this year because he was born in 78.
Okay, so
he's 5 years younger.
5 years younger than us. So we witnessed his whole life.
His whole professional life because he came into the league at, 17, 18 years old.
Yes.
18, right out of high school.
And
he
it was
played
a story,
for 20
and it was post-Jordan.
And he retired when he was 37. So we met the kid. And we actually I feel like we started hearing about him the year before he came into the NBA. But let's just say.
So we're like 24 years old.
But even entered the NBA at 18 and retired at 37. So we saw him from 18 to 37, which was just, 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
Essentially grow up from being an 18-year-old kid to a 37-year-old retired professional.
And we were only, 24
right.
or so. So it's a large percentage of our lives. Kobe Bryant has been a thing, and he did things that, whether you like him or you don't like him, which I thought he was generally a likable person and did positive things. But he wore the uniform of the United States in the Olympics, won 2 gold medals. So, I don't know what you consider Olympians, but they're representing our country. They're serving our country. He did something bigger than himself. They won, right?
Yeah.
Vlad X was telling me about, Sports Radio Vlad was telling me about, he was jogging my memory, that we were losing to Spain. And Kobe hit a big shot to win the game at the end, like big moments. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, well, I think that was part of when he started endearing himself to everyone at the Olympics and that Olympic Games.
We might have had a little bit of an edge as a Ute, but so many people have an edge as a Ute because when you're a Ute, you don't know nothing and you're trying to prove yourself.
I feel that, at least personally, I felt that there was, when Kobe first came on, in our age group, we're kind of, I'm a Jordan guy. Jordan was our guy. We saw him, and, I still think
I'm a Dr. J guy.
That he's really, you think Dr. J is better than Jordan?
No,
though?
But I think,
okay,
Dr.
But
J,
I mean,
no Jordan without
sense,
Dr. J.
Jordan was, to me, Jordan was the best basketball player that I ever saw.
Yeah.
And even, having seen Dr. J play, not, maybe once or twice in person.
Yeah.
But, see, Jordan was the best we ever saw. And when Kobe first came on, I always looked at him as Kobe was, like a baby Jordan. He was trying to be Michael Jordan.
Right.
He was, and the league, remember, for a few years they were trying to feed us the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And at first, after a couple years in, it did appear that Kobe was going to be that guy. And essentially, I mean, now Kobe's one of the, top 5, top 10 of all time. Really. The numbers bear out, 5 championships, so forth. But I felt that somewhere in the middle of the career, he went from being that kid that was trying to be Jordan and be the next guy. And if you look at the video early in his career, he even had the Jordanisms, the walk, the way he played and everything. But somewhere in the middle, he found himself, and especially towards the end when he became for lack of a better term, the I don't give a crap Kobe, where, he actually, I felt like he became actual Kobe, that we got to see him and not the guy that was trying to emulate Michael.
Well, right.
And I kind of like that guy at the end, though. The whole Mamba,
Yeah.
Whatever. There was the incident in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's something that you can't just ignore completely, But
I can ignore it because it's like everybody has their. The thing about famous people is you hear about their skeletons, right? Like whereas the guy Ralph that I just mentioned, was it Ralph? The guy who passed away that I don't know?
Yeah.
2 minutes ago? Right?
Lenny.
He had some things, too. Like, everybody's got things that, the famous people, you hear about them, and who knows what the story was.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But, in the end, like, you're not you until you're 30 years old anyway. Like, you're always trying to figure out who you are until you figure out who you are. And if you're a basketball player, of course you're trying to emulate Michael Jordan. Unless you're a big round guy, then you're emulating Charles Barkley. But that's a different thing. And
so, basically, I guess, it wasn't that I didn't like Kobe or that I didn't like him, I didn't hate him. I just didn't
eclipse Michael.
No,
because...
it wasn't that I just didn't. I kind of didn't care. I've never been a huge Laker fan because they always won all the time. And
right. Well, but the same reason that.
But
Jeff
as
Gordon...
a Heat fan, Kobe killed the Heat for a few years there, man.
The same reason that Jeff Gordon, Earnhardt fans didn't like Jeff Gordon because Jeff Gordon was trying to eclipse Dale Earnhardt. It's just a thing about the next generation. At first you're against, and then you're for. And it's the way it is. Like, who is this guy? Oh, man, he earned my respect.
But, right, and over the years I can appreciate, Kobe was a great basketball player. And,
supposedly did a lot of good. And, there are people who have a lot of knowledge about Kobe's, altruistic, charitable giving, etc. But, he called and connected with a lot of young players to give them advice, to help them along through the struggles of super fame and wealth and sports and pressure and intensity, all of those things. It's just a sad thing. And a lot of people, even here at the Super Bowl, right? Like it's put there's a haze, a shadow, something upon just everything right now because everyone is doing what Gio said, considering their own mortality. Considering it, right? And exactly. Spending time considering it. And I've considered it, and we should all consider it. And then as soon as you consider it, you say, okay, that can happen. Let's have as much fun and be as good to one another before it does. Because, what was the one you said the other day? Someday I'll be dead? You said it last week, and it's like William Shakespeare line. You dropped it in. You're like, I didn't write that. But it's true. How prophetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it turned out. So this week we got the big birthday.
The eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you will die.
Simple as that. I'll be down 9 pounds on the keto. Everything's looking up. We're going to talk Super Bowl, Niners versus Chiefs. Got Ron Caps. Going to call Caps for NHRA Nitro. He's a big Niners fan.
Isn't he here?
He's not here yet.
Okay.
He's going out to Vegas
coming, right?
to test.
He's coming in?
Yeah, he's coming in like Saturday night or something.
All right.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
Coming in Saturday night, he's not even going to spend any time in SoFlo?
No, they're coming straight from the test in Vegas. And then, you got to come back against the clock.
Right.
That's a problem. So we'll see. But anyway, let's get into a couple of different things. Big philosophical conversation on WFO. We are going to kick off the racing season. We got Rolex 24 results. I watched the end mostly. I chose to use my Sunday and be productive. I basically did a extreme detail on my dad's truck. That's how I spent my Sunday. It was great. I went crazy.
As in washing and detailing?
Yes.
Like that? Washing,
yes.
waxing,
washing,
wax on, wax on?
Top coated the whole thing. Just
vacuum
6 hours. Did not get to that. No.
No. So just the outside.
From
only.
11 to 6. It was a intense detail. Needed it. And it's great now. Thing looks brand new. I feel so great about it. But
very good.
Maybe I'll get the interior next time. Interior is actually really really clean. But so I thought that's where I found out about Kobe. Like you always remember where you were when these things happen. Like I was in my driveway washing my dad's truck when I found out about Kobe. I was at a swimming pool at the Fountain Blue when I found out about Michael Jackson.
Wow. What a coincidence.
Right.
I was at a
you were there
pool
too. Yeah. Well, all of us. Our phones all started to blow up, and we were like, oh, in a big group. We're having a nice day at the pool. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Michael's dead. But see, it's different. Vladdy and I got in this great conversation about celebrity death. It was a great conversation about celebrity death and how this is a big one in terms of the scope of a Kobe Bryant because he is world known.
Well,
China.
Especially, right. Like, he's actually huge over there in China. Like, bigger than we would even comprehend.
Right.
Because...
And so taking...
And also the whole L.A. thing. I mean, if you see L.A. as a town of stars, and the stars... Oh, and, this guy was a star among stars. And I mean entertainment world stars, not just...
The stars are rooting for this guy.
Right.
And this guy is delivering. He delivered
not
5
just athletic-wise,
he
was a star. Right. He was a star among stars in L.A. Like, L.A. loved this guy.
Yeah. Well, there's no way to overstate it. That's the thing. It's there's no way to overstate the personal effect. I was listening to local sports radio when I got up to go to the gym because I've lost 5 pounds, and that's how I'm doing it. It's through health and hard work. But they were talking about Jose Fernandez and how that was a shocking tragedy, and it was, pitcher for the Marlins. And they were like how they were affected and everything. And I was thinking about it, not to diminish anybody's pain or anything. It's not about that, but it's about like, wow, That's a guy who was just on the team who showed promise, right? Imagine your favorite player on your favorite team, whether he's your favorite player or not, has delivered you 5 world championships. Like anybody that roots for sports and has ever had some success has got somebody that they know, like, wow, yeah, 5 world championships. So like Jack Nicholson is like dying right now. Like everybody, like the stars of the stars. Vladdy was telling me, Sports Radio Vlad was telling me that there was a musician, LA guy, got killed a couple of last year or something. I forget his name, sorry. But
one of those rappers?
One of those rappers. And I don't even know the dude, I feel bad. Like, if he said it again, I would know it, and you guys would all know it, maybe. But it's nobody I even knew, but he said that the whole city, like, oh, man, like, someone we know had a tragedy, and he got shot, right? This is a big one. This is a big one. And so I started thinking about, like, this happens every once in a while. Like, a uber celebrity, like Dale Earnhardt, was on the track participating in a dangerous sport. So it is a tragedy. But everybody who turned on that race that day kind of was like, everyone's got that in the back of their mind.
Well, that's part of it. Also, the fact that motorsports is something that
we're always
in your job you might lose your life, and as safe as the cars have gotten, it's still a possibility. Whereas
Ayrton Senna, that was huge.
Right, you don't expect a basketball player,
right,
to die on the basketball court. Now, that did happen that one time. What was it, Reggie?
Len Bias.
No, Len Bias did not die on the court. Reggie Lewis, maybe, Boston Celtics, he had a heart attack on the actual court in the 90s. But the other thing I was going to mention is, in the NBA as a whole, most of their, isn't that old as a league, like, say, baseball and football.
Right.
And so most of their historic stars, with the exception of Wilt, are still alive.
Right.
Bill Russell, he's old, but he's still alive.
I met him.
Right, and you know what I mean? Dr. J, old, hasn't played in 30 years, but he's still alive. And that's the kind of thing, like the NBA doesn't, their early stars and all that are still, really old, but walking around amongst us. So here's an NBA legend that just kind of died. Boom, 40 years old, at the end of his playing career, but still in the prime of his life. And so I think that, like I was thinking about that today, I was like, wow, like the NBA of all sports, most of their legends are still alive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another one where it plays on that.
Well, it is, and it does. And there have been times, think about, so Vlad and I compiled, like we were talking, like the biggest, celebrity tragedies, right? And this is definitely one of them. Princess Diana we gave her number 1 on the list, right? Like that's the one, the most world-known person to experience a horrific, exit. And they all come under that. Kobe is like second or third, and it's just it's a shock to the system for everybody. But then again, you got to get going. And we got Super Bowl week and birthday week. And
you know what?
Iguanas are falling from the trees here.
Not just that, we saw it yesterday. Where, you know what? The league didn't cancel games. The show must go on, unfortunately.
They did reschedule the Clippers game.
Yeah, but that's tomorrow's game.
Yeah.
The Lakers played yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, just like that, like everything, it's entertainment, sports, and life in general. Life must go on.
That's it.
Life, unfortunately, life is about the living, as, I like to say.
And keep going. Tomorrow's coming.
Right. And even then, life must go on. The games have to be played.
The games must be played. And Sunday, the Super Bowl will be played. All right, let's get into some other things, WFO stuff. Like,
but anyway,
we are going to have.
That was our
peace out.
Peace
Kobe.
out. Rip Mamba.
Yeah. No, man.
The whole basketball thing.
Yes. Yeah. Remember that? Just didn't even flinch. So, WFO Radio Fantasy League, our own competition.
The important stuff here.
Yes. So here's the deal, everybody. Those of you that are still listening, do you think our listeners tune out when we do that, or tune in?
Well, I don't know. I guess 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, we're deep into this. We did 20 minutes on Kobe and the Super Bowl. But so here's the thing. Chad Robb has reached out to me. Supposedly, everybody that was in the league last year is automatically re-entered, okay, in the WFO Radio League. You just go back in and you set your team, and it happens automatically. Now, that seems a little confusing to me. So I need our WFO radio listeners, I'm talking Rich and Saugus and Lowe and everybody that wants to be in the league, to go and begin checking. If you are new or want to invite someone new, because remember, this league is unlimited in size, right? Supposedly, you can use last year's information. And this league, all of a sudden, whereas we used to change it 2018, 2019, right? This would be the 2020 league.
Oh, well, no, it's alive. I just went on there.
But see,
I'm in.
But the password and the username and everything is last year's stuff.
Well, I just went to the drivergroupgame.com.
Yeah.
And, obviously I had already saved the stuff here from my previous stuff because I don't like having to remember passwords and stuff. And so it was saved in there. And I just went to my dashboard. And here I am, WFO Radio. There's like a little maple leaf next to our thing. And I'm ready to go. I have to set my entry for Daytona.
There it is.
And like you said, it's all there.
Well, good.
So let's see. I mean, it would be nice to see, what other people are. I guess everybody from last year log into your account.
If you played last year, they are automatically logged in for this year. If you would like to play, go to Driver Group Game. The username is WFO Radio 2019. The password is WFO 2019. I'm not going to change that.
Right.
I'm just going to leave it. And, why confuse things? Let's just get in there and invite some new people to be in the game. And we're starting early. We're starting in January because the way I look at it is we can't have too many people anymore. We don't have limited spots. We don't have to worry about opening a second league, blah, blah, blah. I'm under the impression it'll hold whoever we want. So there you go.
It looks like it.
That's Fantasy League information. Good deal. Now,
good job. So the fantasy, here we go. I thought we had to give out the group and the.
We don't have to do nothing, which is great. That's a big thumbs up for this league.
That would be. We don't have to do anything.
We ain't got to do nothing. Got me?
I hear you.
Big thanks to our sponsors, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and samtech.edu, TotalSeal.com, MagicDryUS.com, and RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. A lot of .coms out there here on the WFO podcast. NHRA Nitro is going to be very big this week. I know by the time you guys are listening, most people are going to be listening to this, early in the week. Although the numbers, they go up all week long. I've tried to make sense out of our schedule. Like we do the Ignition on Monday. Gio's going to post it like late night Monday. Hopefully people are listening on Tuesday morning, Wednesday. We're going to have Reinhardt. We're going to have Chad Head. We're going to have Ron Capps. We're going to have Vic Penrod. We're going to have J.R. Todd. That's this week. And we're going to roll them out as the week goes on NHRA Nitro. So I'm trying to figure out, when people are listening based on the numbers that come up. And I can't figure it out. Got nothing. I got no nothing. All right, so Rolex 24 for the third time in 4 years.
Oh, look, there was a thing that said check in, and I just did on the driver group game. Check into WFO Radio League.
Oh, what do you mean check in? What's that mean?
Well, over here on the left side where it says my account, dashboard, my leagues, and it has a
check
WFO
in like
radio.
check in like, hey, see what's going on, or check in like an airplane flight, like check in that you're part of the league.
I don't know which one it was, but I just clicked on it, and I'm now officially checked in. I don't know. Take your chances and check in.
Check in, everybody. Check in. Wayne Taylor Racing was victorious in the Le Mans prototype category. Cadillac. Kamui Kobayashi, one of the drivers, won by more than a minute over the number 77 Mazda over Oliver Jarvis. LMP2, the 81 Dragon Speed Oreca across the finish line.
Scott Pruitt won again, right? Or Scott
5-car LMP 2 class.
What is it?
Well, yeah, Wayne Taylor Racing
had
Kamui Kobayashi, Ryan Briscoe, Scott Dixon.
There you go. Not Pruitt.
And R. Van der Zand. R. Van der Zand. And the Cadillac, Daytona. Then Oliver Jarvis, third. Joao Barbosa, Sebastian Bourdais. Those guys in the Mustang sampling Cadillac were third. That is in the Le Mans category. In let's see. In GT Le Mans, which is the category that I am most interested in, and the C8 Corvettes were making their first run. They finished 4th and 7th overall. But it was a BMW and a Porsche that were like just battling, and that's what I was interested in. To me, like that's what I want to see. No offense to the prototypes, but I want to see that. And it was the BMW team, the factory BMW versus factory Porsche, battling it out. John Crone, Edwards, Mastert, and Farfus taking the win in that. And let's see. Next category. GT Daytona. Slightly less hopped up sports cars. Paul Miller Racing take the win. A Lamborghini Huracan 1 and 2. Followed by an Audi and then a bunch of Porsches. And there you have it. Your results for the Rolex 24 sports car race. It was interesting. I like the fact that it's the start of the racing season. The official start of the racing season. LMP2 is Dragon Speed and GT Le Mans. Yeah, all right, I got it. I want to make sure I got all the results. With all these multiple categories and such, I want to make sure we have the results. So I did mention that iguanas were falling from the skies. And we did have a cold day last week, right after our show.
We participated in winter. What do you mean?
We did. Winter's come and gone.
Well, that's not true. It's nice. We're still feeling the winter effects. It's 60 degrees in the morning.
But on one day it was 40.
It was 38 degrees, actually.
And that was the day the iguanas were falling from the skies. And it was a national story. My aunt lived in Utah. She is texting me.
Even
they was on their local news that in Florida, iguanas are falling from the trees. And I have a story because it's not that I can't get into it with iguanas, right? Like if there's iguana problem, I'm going to get into it.
Yeah, you're going to go chase them around the neighbor's house.
Well, in this case, on my way to the gym in the morning, there was one like paralyzed in the street. And everybody needs to understand they're not dead. They're just paralyzed by the cold. And you can wake them up. But this one was just lying in the street. And, like part of me said, run him over. But I couldn't bring myself to do that. That's not how I roll. I'm not taking out a helpless life that's paralyzed by cold by squishing it with a 3,500-pound car. It's just not honorable. So I let him go about his business. And maybe he made it or maybe he didn't, but he was just kind of lying there. But anyway... So I get home.
So what, you just left them there so that the next person can
No, you would have had to swerve. You would have had to swerve. Right,
that's what I'm saying. So the next person can just run them over?
Well, I didn't stop my car and get out of my car and gently pick up the iguana and place him in the grass. No.
Well, I wouldn't be doing anything
right.
either.
So, of course, I just left him there. Yeah. Drove by him. There he goes. But I elected to not swerve to crush him. Because that's
Oh, you would have had to have swerved to crush him?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you swerved
out of the groove.
to avoid him.
He was out of the groove. No, I just drove straight. I would have had to have swerved to get him. I'm not doing that. But anyway, so later on in the day, a little bit later, like fast forward to 10:30 in the morning, I'm in my backyard. And my backyard is just kind of a grassy area, and I've got just a straight wall in my roof, and I've got some white lights up on my gutter to illuminate the backyard at night. And I had noticed that these white lights are kind of hung up by these little plastic clips. Christmas lights, right? They're Christmas lights, and they're held up by plastic clips.
Yeah, I didn't want to call you out and say that you still have your Christmas light decorations.
No, but they're going to be up there. They're white.
No,
they're white lights.
You are correct. They are white. They're not the traditional colored lights, multicolored lights. They are
forever.
Simply white, but they are still Christmas lights.
They illuminate the backyard. They're going to stay up forever.
That is indeed they do, but they are still Christmas lights. It's not like that string of 48 lights that have a light bulb on the bottom that they sell at the big warehouse.
Yeah, but
places.
You know what? At Los Olas and stuff, they wrap palm trees in these white lights, and they're commonly used in trees and decorative areas just to illuminate. So I dispute your Christmas thing. Now, they did go up around Christmas, but that's it. So anyway,
I'd like to see what the box says, because I would be willing to bet that they're
twinkle
called
lights,
sparkling
lights. This is unimportant. So
yeah, of course.
So what happens is it goes up on the hooks onto the gutter with these plastic clips, and so there was one spot that the sun beats down on the top of the plastic clip, and it it dries it out, and then the clip breaks, and the lights were hanging down. And I was feeling really productive, and I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a ladder, and I'm going to get another plastic clip, and I'm going to fix the light, and I'm going to hook it up there. And so I get the ladder, and I climb up the ladder, and I got the plastic clip, and I'm all a little bit out of balance. Like anybody that's been up on a ladder at any point knows that you want to not fall. And so I'm kind of like, and I'm very close, like my face is right kind of by the gutter as I am going to reach over the top of the gutter blindly and hook the clip in there because it hooks over the top of the gutter, and then I'll be able to string the lights up there. So this exact spot in a 30-foot long gutter that I am working on, apparently there is a cold, paralyzed iguana at that exact spot inside the gutter. And he's like trying to stay warm, or he's like kind of getting sun. And he doesn't know that I'm coming, and I don't know that he's there. And so I reach over the thing, and I start to hook the plastic, and this iguana goes berserk and starts to try to run. He's like, oh, what the hell is that? He's probably scared to death of me because I just came out of nowhere. And you hear him, and this noise is coming from 5 inches away from my head. And his claws are scratching on the inside of the gutter, trying to gain traction to run away. And his tail comes over the side, and his tail is whipping around, and he's like, trying to run. And I'm telling you, it was a very startling moment.
You had a moment with
I don't want to say I pooped my pants, but I almost did. It was frightening. I'm on the ladder, this iguana, the tail, the claw, everything. It was intense. It was an intense 5 seconds. And he finally was able to get traction. He quit spinning the tires. And he went down there and on the roof to the other end of the gutter, and you could see his tail hanging over. And I was all adrenalined out, and I wanted to fight him. I was like, this was it. And I was going to go down there and grab his tail and pull him down. But I thought much better of that very rapidly. I came down. And that was my iguana battle. So here it is. It's a consistent trend now on this show that I am constantly fighting these iguanas. I'm an iguana warrior. This was a scary thing, man. Now,
yeah, I might see. You know what? I'm predicting a moonlighting job on you, becoming one of these people going in after the iguanas. $50
did you see that lady? Is that what it is? Is it 50 really? Because that lady had 100 of them laid out. She apparently went around collecting the ones that were paralyzed, and then you just put them in the freezer and freeze them. If it's $50 a pelt,
that seemed like the perfect opportunity to go around collecting them.
Is it $50 a pelt, really?
Well, it's not like the boas it's not like the boas that they're offering money for the iguanas, but there is businesses out there now that come get rid of the iguanas for you.
Chicken of the trees.
Yeah.
No, I dig.
I saw a post on social media somewhere where it looked like a bunch of skinned iguanas were about to be cooked.
Well, they do. They sell them to restaurants.
Yeah, I understand.
It's crazy.
Ooh.
Who would do that?
I don't think I want to eat it.
No, man. They say it tastes like chicken, though. Why does everything taste like chicken? That's the question mark. So Fox has confirmed a 2-person booth for the year. Jeff Gordon, Mike Joy. I like it. DW has retired. It's going to be great. Love DW, but I think Gordon, who's 48, 5th straight season, color commentator. How time flies, huh? This is his 5th year. It was 5 years ago that Lewis Hamilton came in and watched Jeff Gordon's last race. Feels like not that long ago. There it is, the slow-walking shuffle. I like the 2-man booth. Sometimes I think the 3-man booth is too much. I know they always had a 3-man booth back in the day, but I am eager to see Jeff Gordon just do his thing. Just tell us, Jeff. Do your thing. And I think that's going to be very good.
I also think that the three-man booth with DW and Jeff just wasn't quite. I think this is going to work out just fine.
I agree. I think, well, Jeff would say something and DW would have a different take in another direction.
And even the first couple of years, I think towards the end it was working slightly better where Jeff was finding his groove and DW was not, wasn't being territorial about it. Like
after
early
the end
on,
of the first year.
Right. After that first year was really also, it was very, like if Jeff was, not really participating as much as he could have. It's you know what, this works out better. I think the two-man booth it's even the old school Monday Night Football, they used to have the two-man booth that went away many years ago.
So we'll see. Something to look forward to. Formula One teams are starting to tease the announcement of their new cars. I see a story by Jim Utter. Keselowski taking the blame for last year that the rules package just had him off balance. I do think the rules package was a challenge for me personally to embrace and accept. It was like being a 5-year-old and being pushed into kindergarten. You don't really get a choice of whether or not you like it. You're probably not real comfortable with it, but it's happening. You better figure it out and embrace it. I could have done a better job, says Keselowski. Really small horsepower. That's really hard to accept. It's hard to accept for the drivers and really hard to accept for the teams. With respect to some of the things that have been telltales of the past, they are not necessarily telltales of today. You used to get in this car, and if you were a good race car driver, you could run every lap within a half a tenth or a tenth of a second. With these rules, lap time variance is very significant. You might run one lap, let's say around Charlotte, 30 seconds flat, then the next lap you catch the wrong draft, and you're all over the place, you run 31 seconds. The team sees that and goes, what the hell? What is going on here with this guy? Is he drunk? Is he not focused? When you're not winning, you're having a bad day. It really puts a lot of stress on the team relationships, driver relationships, that dynamic. Wow. So they were questioning Brad Kay. When you win, it's great. When you're not winning with it, you feel like your hands are completely tied behind your back and you're not a race car driver anymore. Wow. That's
isn't all sports the ultimate meritocracy?
Well, yeah, they really are. They really are. Simple as that. First year, though, like he could go out and be a champion this year. Going from horsepower racing to momentum racing. It's just different. Different style of racing. Other interesting news. DC Solar.
I got one before you go off of this. Did you see Kyle Busch running over there at the 24? I saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask because I know you watch more of it.
Didn't I mention him?
Did you mention Kyle?
Yeah.
All right.
I talked a lot about him. I said, yeah, Kyle Busch, he was there racing.
All right, that's it.
No, apparently he did real well.
Well, he did well, but I think his team didn't do so well.
Right, that's the thing. He ran the last stint. He actually did well. He drove well. I fully expect it. Kyle Busch is a very talented race car driver.
Well, that he is. Wasn't he the defending champion?
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh. Well, I wasn't there this year. I don't remember.
Oh,
I don't have that memory.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like all other years, like I got the memory in my mind of watching the burnouts of being there and then my streak. But we got the Dixie Vodka 400 coming out. I was at Homestead Miami Speedway on Friday for Fastlane Friday, and it was cool. Good times. Everyone's getting excited about the Dixie Vodka 400.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, March 22nd. It's going to be good. So anyway, DC Solar. The owners of DC Solar pleaded guilty today to charges related to a $1 billion Ponzi scheme.
Say what? $1 billion? Is that what you just said?
See.
Wow.
The biggest criminal fraud scheme in the history of the Eastern District of California. The government's investigation has resulted in the largest criminal forfeiture in the history of the district, with over $120 million in assets forfeited that will go to the victims. It has returned $500 million to the United States Treasury, with more to come, says U.S. Attorney McGregor W. Scott. How about that? Jeff Karpoff, 49, of Martinez, pleaded guilty today to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. His wife, Paulette Karpoff, 46, our age, pleaded, see, when I see that, I like, oh, there's a person like me? No, they're much older than me. Pleaded guilty today to conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States and money laundering, etc., and so on. And it goes on to tell the story. If you want to read it, it's on J-Ski. I just think that's kind of, corruption, man.
Yeah, no, it seeps everywhere.
But they got these guys. That's what we should be happy about. They got them. Hey, they got them. There it is. So what else? We talked about The Irishman last week, but I've gone back and seen a couple of more scenes. Everyone is talking about it. When are the Oscars? We're going to find out. It's like this weekend. Maybe it's Monday.
They're definitely not on a Monday. I think they're on Sunday, first of all.
So what? They're after the Super Bowl? How can that be?
Well, last night was the Grammys, wasn't it?
Yeah. That Alicia Keys, man, she did a great job. Because everybody was very sad. It was at the Staples Center.
Well, the girl can sing and play the piano.
And she's attractive and, got a great personality.
February 9th are the Oscars.
Oh,
so that
okay,
would be the Sunday after the Super Bowl.
It is the week of I'll be in Cali, baby. I'll be out there in Pomona, California. I'll be right in the area. I'll go out there.
You're going to go walk the red carpet?
I'm going to go walk the red carpet. I'll be like, Scarlett Joe, please. or whatever. But yeah, Alicia Keys did an amazing job. Like, I couldn't believe.
I did not watch 1 second of the Grammys.
Oh, it was good. I like try to watch those things. Keep up with the popular culture and what the kids are watching. Lizzo. Do you know Lizzo?
Yes, I know who she is.
You know Lizzo? All right.
I've found out who she is.
Lizzo. Exactly. And that's the thing. It's just that, everything is, I feel bad for the old people.
She's no Alicia Keys, though.
Oh, well, that's the thing is it started off, first thing you see is Lizzo, and then you see Alicia Keys, and it's like, there's a juxtaposition.
Like the yin and the yang?
The yin and the yang. Yin and the yang. But what a talented lady, Alicia Keys. And she's talking to everybody and kind of calming everybody, making people feel good.
And she has the cool New York song, too.
Oh, yeah. That was associated with the New York Yankee World Series championship.
Is that when that came out?
Yep.
I didn't even remember anymore.
Absolutely.
That was so long ago. I can't even remember the last Yankee championship.
It was the, you shouldn't say it that way. It was the first season of New Yankee Stadium, which is a milestone thing. I never got any feedback from like Lowe or any of the Red Sox nation. What's up with the big investigation? What's happening with that? Why are they taking so long? They're trying to make us forget?
Probably.
Slide off the hook, right? It was on the radar. And then
I guess first it was the Houston investigation, and now it's the Boston investigation. So,
right.
So don't worry, Lowe's team is going to get theirs in due time.
Just everybody's got to get theirs. That's all. Everybody's got to get theirs. That's all.
Look, it's like if you speed all over town everywhere, you may not get a ticket every day, but sooner or later you're going to get clocked. Well, these people that are out there cheating, they're going to get caught all sooner or later. And Lo, don't worry, your team is going to get theirs.
All right, so the Super Bowl is this weekend. It is our birthday weekend. And there's a couple of big things that always happen. There's the prop bets and the Super Bowl commercials.
Well, the Super Bowl commercials are the big thing because that's
just
pop culture. That's everything.
They've already killed Mr. Peanut.
Oh, is that like a Super Bowl gag? I saw that somewhere a couple days ago online, and I was just like, I didn't really understand the concept of it.
It's $5.6 million for a 30-second spot.
What?
It's 5.6.
It's up to 5.6 mil?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 5.6 mil for a 30-second spot.
So that's about, if my math serves me correctly, that's $11 million for a minute. 11 million for a minute.
Yep.
Wow.
And President Trump bought a 60-second ad. And
he's a rich guy, man.
And so did Michael Bloomberg.
Oh, well, look at that. Rich guys competing.
Yes, exactly. That could end up being interesting.
Hey, isn't it awesome how you could just buy an election in the U.S.?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are against that. It does seem very...
Oh, what, you didn't note my sarcasm?
Yeah. Hey, man. Well, imagine what it would be like to have $60 billion.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'd rather not.
Yeah, exactly. Me neither.
Yeah, what do you want? You know, the neighbor's wealth doesn't upset me. But thinking if I had $60 billion, that's more upsetting.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So I'm looking for a list of the, okay, here we go. Here we go. Things that, here we go. The people that have commercials. Audi. Returning to the Super Bowl for the 11th time, Audi is kicking off a new global campaign to redefine its Vorsprung durch Technik marketing slogan, which translates to progress through technology. So you'll see that. Vorsprung durch Technik. Avocados from Mexico.
Oh, they've had a commercial now a couple years in a row.
Avocados from Mexico will run its sixth consecutive Super Bowl spot this year's game. The 30-second spot that Energy BBDO, Havas Media, Richards, Lerma, and Badia collaborated on is expected to center on America's obsession with avocados. Do you have an obsession with avocados? I like them.
Obsessed would be a little too far, but I do enjoy eating avocados and the guacamole and stuff like that.
5 for $5 at Publix today, man. $1 per Haas avocado. I bought 5.
Yeah, I went to Publix this morning. I got me the BOGO coffee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you see the new coffee maker in the break room?
I did. I think it was here last week, wasn't it? I feel like if I already saw it, have I been here or?
I don't think so.
How did I see it? Did I see it in pictures? I don't know. Are you sure it wasn't here last week?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, somehow I feel like if I already seen it. And then, I guess maybe you sent me a picture that it's like espresso and coffee maker.
Yeah, it makes real like a pot of coffee.
It's like a double bubble.
We can make 10 cups of coffee. One day we can have 10 cups.
Oh, that sounds like I call that Wednesday.
I know. It's going to be great. No, I've already my coffee intake. How do I increase my coffee intake? I'll get a pot of coffee. Now I can just have cup after cup. Michael Bloomberg. Super Bowl 2020 is all about political battlefield. Bloomberg and Trump presidential campaign. Bloomberg is shelling out $11 million to run a 60-second spot.
Yeah, I think we just figured out that math. Screw those guys.
Bud Light Seltzer.
I'm against these alcoholic seltzers, man. Forget that.
Anheuser-Busch InBev is pushing Bud Light and Bud Light Seltzer ad this year. Its 40th as an official sponsor. The spot by Wyden and Kennedy focuses on the mayor of Seltzer, PA. Watch the teaser here.
I'm Randy Diaz, mayor of Seltzer, Pennsylvania. If you love Bud Light like me, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's a hard seltzer from Bud Light. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. If you don't love Bud Light, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's not Bud Light. It's hard seltzer.
All right, so yeah, you get the idea. I've seen this commercial already.
Yeah, they're going to have to come out with a new one for the Super Bowl. I mean, they can't.
But
just
it's that guy. Like, I don't like
one.
that ad campaign, and I've tried the hard water. Like, this is seltzer, which I like seltzer, but the hard waters and the sparkling. Well, that's a sparkling water. Okay. The hard water is
so what's the difference between seltzer and sparkling water?
Seltzer is it's got a different kind of gas put in there. Seltzer, I think, has got CO2 pumped into it, whereas a sparkling water is something different. But thank God for you, because you're looking this up. He dove right in on this one, folks. A lot of times, Giovanni will just sit there with a blank look and stare at me and have to be prompted to go look it up. This one, he's genuinely interested in. I can tell you that. He dove right into it. Well, you know, there's all these like hard waters and everything. It's like an extremely light beer. It's what it tastes like. The most lightest of beers, they're gross. I don't like them. Gio's working on that. Budweiser. Budweiser is known for its memorable Super Bowl ads, and this year's by David Miami and filmmaker Catherine Bigelow will run 60 seconds. The ad celebrates the best kind of American spirit and juxtaposes everyday acts of kindness and epic personal achievements with some kind of common labels placed on people. Budweiser's pre-released its ad. Watch it below.
Oh, here we go. The main difference between seltzer and sparkling water is where the carbonation comes from. If the carbonation is artificial, it's probably seltzer or club soda or some sort of soda like seltzer.
Right.
If the bubbles occur naturally, straight from the source, it's sparkling water.
Wow, there it is.
Ha! There it is.
There it is. So Perrier
Who
or
says
Pellegrino.
you don't learn something new every day?
Well, exactly.
So Perrier is sparkling water because it comes from the source in France.
Right.
From the Perrier Springs or
Right.
whatever it's
Perrier
called.
Mountains.
And seltzer is carbonated,
They just pump that in
is
there.
club soda, essentially.
Right.
Or any of those.
Which I have club soda.
Right. It's pumped in there by carbon dioxide. Like any Coke. The bubbles are not naturally occurring.
So a Dasani sparkling is really a seltzer.
No, because that water, it's really,
No,
a
it's
seltzer,
Dasani.
not sparkling water.
No,
right.
they're selling it. They're saying sparkling, but when I get a club soda, they give me a Dasani. They're actually giving me the right thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, everybody, and that's why you should subscribe to WFO Radio.
So you can hear the wonderful differences between seltzer and sparkling water.
Cheetos. Cheetos is returning to the Super Bowl after 11 years with a 30-second spot by Goodby Silverstein and Partners featuring rapper MC Hammer and his song, You Can't Touch This. Watch the teaser below.
Wait, I can't touch this.
His hands were he was at the piano, and his fingers were all covered in Cheeto cheese, and that's why he can't touch the piano. He's about to try to figure out a song, and he can't touch the piano because he's got Cheetos all over his hands. And that was the spark that ignited, you can't touch this. I have seen Hammer in concert like 3 times.
Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, say what you want. Hammer was a great entertainer.
He was, but I got to tell you, the lasting impression I have about Hammer is doing an interview on the radio and not wanting to talk about, recently, and by recently I mean in the last 5 or so years, and not wanting to talk about the please, Hammer, don't hurt him and stuff like that. Can't touch this.
What do you mean? Like he doesn't want to talk about his
No, he
successful
wanted
music?
to say, hey, I've done other stuff since then and this and that. And it kind of, I was like, that doesn't seem right, dude. Hammer, 90% of the population wouldn't know who the hell you are if it wasn't for Can't Touch This.
Yeah.
And he really
the Rolling
was just
Stones
like,
have to answer questions about Sympathy for the Devil.
right, no, I got a new album now. I want to talk about that. It's like, no, dude, nobody cares about that. The only thing we care about is your parachute pants and the 100 people you were on stage with.
That is a very common.
Too legit,
Too legit to quit.
Right, that's all that matters about MC Hammer. I don't even know if he's ever made a record in the last 10 years.
No, he did like a
no, and I get it, but that's the whole thing. Like
Church.
he came on and he was like I guess originally they were told, that you're only supposed to talk about this new stuff. You can't bring up the old stuff.
Right.
And they went right to the old stuff, and then the interview Hammer got bothered, and the handler came on and started to stop the interview, and they were just like, "Don't worry about it. He doesn't want to talk about the old stuff. Don't worry about it. He's not on."
Well, exactly.
Which is right. It's like, dude, come on. It's Hammer's a star. He knows he's got to come on and just the way to promote your new stuff is talk about whatever the people that want to talk about.
Exactly. Well, and that's
and so it kind of left a negative taste in my mouth over the whole thing about Hammer. Like, really, come on, Hammer. You're so like, what? Now you're beyond talking about.
What's Hammer most known for?
Can't touch this.
I submit he's known for losing $100 million faster than anybody else. Like, I think that's what everybody knows him for.
All right, well, there you go.
Crazy big entourage and
being
excess,
I don't know that he went broke, but he definitely lost all that money.
Largesse, paying everybody to do everything. And he was the bat boy for the Oakland A's or something, right? He
was,
as
a kid, yeah.
Little Hammer.
He's from yes. He's from the Bay Area.
Yeah, he's a Bay Area guy. Oaktown 357. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. But I saw Hammer 3 times. Coca-Cola is returning to the Super Bowl with a 60-second commercial after a hiatus in 2019. The soda giant hasn't said which brands it will be featured in the ad, but there's speculation that will advertise either Coke Energy or a sparkling water called Aha. which are set to launch in January and March,
So now
respectively.
Coke is going to have their own sparkling water, which is not really sparkling water, but we know because there's.
Okay, first of all, Coke already has its own sparkling water. It's called Dasani
I thought
Sparkling.
they owned Aquafina.
Well, no. No.
Which one's Aquafina then?
Pepsi.
That's Pepsi?
Oh, my gosh.
whatever,
Get
dude.
it right, man. It's saying that the Big Mac is available at Burger King right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a terrible move.
Right, look, yeah, PepsiCo.
We are like very close with the Coca-Cola folks. We love them, Mellow Yellow Drag Racing. And the sparkling water, Dasani Sparkling Water, which I have actually liked and it's enjoyable, has been rebranded as AHA. AHA.
Like Take On Me?
I guess.
You don't know what I'm talking about when I say
No, I know Take On Me. AHA. AHA. Right. Take On Me.
That video with the...
Yeah, it was drawn because they didn't have any
with the
money.
drawings.
They got somebody to draw.
Well,
it.
the original South Park was drawings, and I think those were kind of... They worked very well back then.
Sketch, there was a girl. She's in the sketch world.
Yeah,
then
that's
the guy
exactly
became
it.
real. Yeah, I remember.
All right, well...
I had MTV.
Well, some people just don't get it.
Doritos. Here we go. Doritos commercial by Goodby Silverstein and Partners features Sam Elliott reciting the lyrics to Old Town Road from Little Nas X featuring Billy Ray Cyrus. That's it. The 2019 spot for Flamin' Hot Nacho flavored Doritos also had a musical bent featuring Chance the Rapper and the Backstreet Boys. Let's listen to the sample of Sam Elliott.
But if we're gonna
we're gonna do it's a teaser
of all these commercials, what are we gonna talk about next week when we're talking about the Super Bowl commercial?
This is the full commercial. No, this is a teaser. It's 1 minute.
Can't be a teaser for a minute.
I got the horses in the back. Horse stack is attached. Hat is matte black. I got the boots is black to match.
All right, I'm going to just...
Oh, well, that's him, like, I guess, doing, like, just...
a dramatic read.
Like, dramatic read of the lyrics.
He's doing a dramatic read of the lyrics. We should do a dramatic read. We should make it a weekly thing. You'll do one, I'll do one. We'll alternate back and forth on the show. And each week...
I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road.
Something. It could be anything. It could be a dramatic read of anything we want. You like it?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
go first because I know you're not going to want to go first. It's not fair to you.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm not doing it now.
Oh, I'll start here. Welcome to Where Time Stands Still.
But you're not reading. You're just making something up.
No, I'm not.
What are you pulling it out of your head?
Yeah, of course I'm pulling him out of my hat.
It's got to be a read. We're doing it. Fans are going to love it. Patreons, they're going to dig down deep into their pockets. Oh, hey, I want everybody to know that we've done something new with the Patreon page.
Come on, Ron Capps is listening. He would know where that first lyric came from.
What is that?
The Welcome
Metallica?
to Where Time Stands Still. No one leaves and no one will. There you go. We'll leave it at that. If you know, you know.
Okay. Well.
Yes, it is a Metallica song. That's why Ron Capps would know.
Really? See, the context clues. I had no idea, but I got it anyway. That's it. You got to just figure stuff out. Michelob Ultra is yet another Anheuser-Busch brand in the Super Bowl. It's running a 60-second spot this year. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, after running a 45-second ASMR-themed spot with Zoe Kravitz. Last year, Michelob Ultra Pure Gold is running a 60-second commercial by you. Like, buy beer. Facebook running an ad. Facebook is making its Super Bowl ad debut with a 60-second spot prompting its groups feature and starring Chris Rock and Sylvester Stallone.
Wow. I'm not on Facebook, but if you guys want to pay me, I'll go out there and hawk your item. And
the
I'll
spot
even
created
sign
by
up.
AJ. I'm very, very conflicted and sad about Facebook because to me, it does have many good aspects to it. But the negativity created by and generated by and forwarded along by Facebook is just too much to deal with. I would love to have the courage to shut my account down. But then how would I interact with all our WFO stuff? Like, if you got a business, you got to be there. Which means, like, you know, there's talk about breaking them up like a monopoly. Which I don't know.
Breaking them up into what?
But right. It's not possible. Like you can't,
like the Baby Bells was, yeah, sure, we made it regional, but what are you gonna do with Facebook? Like you're gonna break them up into an advertise. Maybe they have to, they really Facebook and Google and maybe some of these other companies. I can't think of any in particular, but all they are is giant ad firms now.
Yes.
is really they're no longer like these social media companies. They're ad firms. All they're doing is
selling your data.
ads.
They're collecting your data. They're selling you
Right,
data.
and selling
they're giving
ads
you stuff.
and literally selling the ads there.
Selling
Just bam,
the ads.
bam, bam, bombarding you. They're just giant ad firms.
But not only that, they're selling you. Like the whole thing is
Yeah.
like they give you different things to like and not like, and then they learn about you, and then they sell that data to the advertisers that you speak of, or other people like that want to use it for other stuff. The thing about Facebook and Google is that, do you believe in the concept that a company or entity can have too much power? A lot of people don't, and a lot of people do. And it's
no, let's not. Yes, I don't believe that people don't believe that because by the same token, then you would be, if you believe that whether it's a company, an entity, or government can have too much power, well, it's a fact. They all can, yes.
Well, no, but some people believe in the absolute nature of, whoever conquers, right? And if, like, I am a business person, and I like Zuckerberg, right? He's an American guy, and he came across an idea. Was it his? Was it partly his? Whatever. He went to work. He worked hard. He built a business. The business became giant. And if he can afford to buy every person in America, then, that's his right. Like a lot of people, like the breaking up of Standard Oil, a lot of people were against that. Like that was wrong, overreach. Like, no, man, that's my business. I built it. If I become the biggest thing on the planet, that's my business. I am allowed to do that. And then people will say, no, man, you got too much power. Anyway, the point is that this Facebook, like, how do you know what they're showing you? That's the thing. What are they showing you? What information are showing you? Are they showing you the right stuff, the wrong stuff, real stuff, stuff they want you to see? News that only they want you to see? Like, I've learned it with some of my WFO radio posting. Like, some of the posts, people don't really see them. And other posts, they get out there a lot. Why? What's the difference? If I use, like, a third-party posting site, like I found this one that did really nice little bits, and they had a great thing. Guess what? Yeah, Facebook's like, nah, we're not showing that one because you should use ours. And it's like, oh, I use theirs. Guess what? It goes like gangbusters. Those numbers, right?
Yeah,
like,
the algorithms.
Right, but those numbers. Does anyone believe that those numbers for videos are real? If there's a pixel on your screen, it counts as a view. You want to make the numbers go up, and that's great. But anyway, they're spending they're spending $11 million, yo. Hard Rock International. Here we go. Hospitality brand Hard Rock International is cashing in on the Super Bowl happening at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami with his first commercial at the big game. The spot, directed by, get this, Michael Bay, is set to air at the end of the second quarter.
So
All
it's
right.
going to be like the summer's hottest big summer blockbuster spot.
Right. Heinz is returning to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2016 with the 30-second spot. The commercial by Wyden and Kennedy was directed by Roman Coppola, son of Francis Ford Coppola. I'm going to speed up now. Hyundai, Kia, Little Caesars, Mountain Dew, the National Football League, New York Life, Olay. What's Olay? Space Chicks. Pepsi, Planters. Oh, this is it. VaynerMedia is again producing the 30-second Super Bowl spot for Planters, which is set to air during the third quarter and depict its mascot, Mr. Peanut's funeral. Planters shared a precursor of the official spot that shows Mr. Peanut sacrificing himself to save his friends Matt Walsh and Wesley Snipes, which will also air shortly before the Super Bowl. Pop-Tarts, Porsche, Pringles, Sabra. Sabra is making a Super Bowl debut, 30-second spot.
Oh, I know what that is. That's the hummus?
Hummus, yeah, that's right.
Right? Ah, look at me.
Good
Woo.
job. It's a spot that has an entourage cast from rapper T-Pain, Kimchi, Real Housewives. I wonder if the cat Smudge is going to be in it. Snickers, Betty White is back. SodaStream with the science guy. Squarespace. Looks like John Malkovich. Tide. All right, I'm done. What about prop bets? What do you got on that?
I haven't really looked into those, being that it's Monday. I kind of, a little bit of a heads up would have been great, but no big deal.
Didn't I say that you're going to have the prop bets after I do the commercials? I felt like I did. I felt like I gave you a heads up.
I think you mentioned prop bets, but you didn't, say, "Hey, Gio, get me
compile
some
a list
bets.
of prop bets."
But I heard some of the weirder ones on the radio on the way here. I think there's odds on whether, whether Kansas City's going to score 4 points. Period. Like 2 safeties, and it was like 99,999 to 1 or something.
Wow. Yeah.
Right, which obviously that's not going to happen. While there's a slight, one, whatever the possibility of it happening is, it's not going to happen. No team has ever only scored 4 points in any one game.
Oh, only 4 points.
Right, that's it. Just only 4 points. That their final score is going to be 4. There was a few of Kyle Shanahan blow another 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, which is a bit unfair because he was only the offensive coordinator of that team. And
yeah, that's mean.
Yeah, that's just kind of. But that just gives you a little bit of a.
So who's going to win the game?
But who's going to win the game?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, wow.
Let's spend a little time. Okay, so first of all, no, here's the thing that we did not talk about. I, last week, gave the very astute observation that both teams were red. Remember that? No, I said that there were 2 red teams, and then you researched it and found out.
First of all, I'm the one that mentioned it on the air that there was 2 red teams playing in the Super Bowl.
I don't know about that.
Okay, I'm going to have to pull the tape just to prove
Go ahead,
you wrong.
pull the tape.
Well, not right now. I'm going to, and the tape too. But maybe in the course of this week.
You're the one who said that you went and did the research. It's the first time ever that there were 2 red teams.
That came later, but I just threw it out there that there are 2 red teams playing.
2 red teams.
And then I actually later found out that it is the first time ever that 2 red teams, in fact, are playing.
I'll give you credit for that, even though I don't think it's necessarily true, because I made that observation as well.
I didn't make it up.
No, the teams are clearly red.
Okay, so
yeah,
then.
But so
and I'm the one that went and did the research to find out it was the first time ever, too.
There's no dispute about that.
Then.
That's not disputed.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they won't both be wearing red jerseys. One of them's going to be a white jersey. The other one's going to be red.
Right.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
Anyway, I want to see Kansas City win, man. Alan Reinhart makes his picks on his segment on NHRA Nitro, and he put me on the spot. And I said, listen, I want to see Kansas City win as much as a Dolphin fan. Both of these teams have given me heartbreak at different times. But the Niners took a Super Bowl from us, whereas Kansas City, I met Christian Okoye this year. So why not?
The Nigerian Nightmare, wasn't he?
Yes,
Is that what he
it was the
called,
Nigerian
right?
Nightmare.
Or the Nigerian Train?
Yes.
The Nigerian Nightmare.
The Nigerian Nightmare.
Anyway, I'm a little bit conflicted here, too, because Jimmy G is like my quarterback now. And, I adopted him when New England threw him to the curb. And I was very big on Jimmy G being the guy that was going to take over for Brady. And then I had to hear, a whole bunch of some of my friends telling me, making me, pointing out that the guy's really never done anything and he got hurt right away and so forth. And so I kind of would like to see Jimmy G, win. But at the same time, I think I prefer Kansas City to win in general. San Francisco's got a bunch of Super Bowls. If they win, they're going to tie the Steelers for all-time records.
There you go.
See
no,
all this stuff that comes out now. And I think it's going to be Kansas City's year simply because Kansas City, first Super Bowl, 100th season, Lamar Hunt, all that stuff. They haven't been in the Super Bowl for 50 years.
Right. And they're the ones who invented the name Super Bowl.
Well, Lamar Hunt, the original owner of the Chiefs,
kid had a Super Bowl.
Essentially invented the Super Bowl.
The kid had a Super Bowl.
He was the one who proposed naming it that and all that stuff. So there's a lot of ties.
Hank Stram?
No, not Hank Stram.
No, but I mean, he was the coach of the first one.
Yes, he was Hank Stram.
Yeah, he was a coach.
But so therefore, I think that all the tea leaves are and if the 50-50 calls go Kansas City way, then we could be seeing Kansas City winning the Super Bowl. And,
good for them.
And here's the thing. They got Mahomes now. And so when the play breaks down, Mahomes is going to find a way to get it done. And that's what he does.
Yeah, it's very difficult to think about. I had a great time in San Francisco this year, man. Like, where would I rather live? Kansas City or San Francisco?
No offense, Kansas City. I'd rather live in San Francisco. The weather's much better. But it was the coldest. It was not the coldest summer I've ever spent.
Which airport is better?
Oh boy.
Oh man, Kansas City, one of the worst. So yeah, I'll be rooting for Kansas City as well. Okay, AFC. But to me though, this is the beginning of the Dolphins' return. This is the beginning. Yeah, the Miami Super Bowl is the beginning of what will ultimately be the wave, the arc, if you will.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's getting in.
To the Super Bowl?
Not the race car driver, the coach to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be announced right before the Super Bowl, right after, or Saturday, the day before. There's a possibility that Zach Thomas gets in. Miami Dolphins, Super Bowl 54.
We got all these draft picks. We got all this money. We got all this goodwill. We got a head coach that we like. They just got to get it right, and I think that they will. And in 4 to 5 years, the Miami Dolphins will be in the Super Bowl competing for the Vince Lombardi Trophy. And we'll all have started with this Super Bowl here in Miami, like the arc, the connect. I'm laying it out there.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
Do you?
No, not really.
I know you don't. You're not a fan.
I don't want. Yeah.
No, but when they're there, I'm going to remember this, and you guys are going to try to glom on there and root and be like, "Oh man, yeah, we were." Well,
if the Dolphins do make it, I guess it depends who they're playing.
Yeah, what kind of a guy
for
would you
the
be?
Local situation? I would be rooting for them.
Yeah, well, your Steelers would have to have already been defeated.
Obviously, the Dolphins aren't going to play the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
Right.
No.
So you got no one to root against. Got anything else, Giovanni? I'm ready to get up on out of here, man. We have had a very busy week. Spoke with Chad Head. Chad Head's going to be on the show. J.R. Todd, Ron Capps, Vic Penrod, Alan Reinhardt, all that stuff. The Patreons already got content today.
What? Say what?
Okay, so here's the deal, everybody.
Oh, what I've heard.
Listen, everyone's been busting my chops. Listen, I got a lot of feedback about our beloved sponsors. And there are just some people that when there's any kind of sponsor mention, they just get cray. So here's what we've done. The NHRA Nitro interviews are available, just the interviews. So, there's no Joe reading commercials or any of that. The interviews, they're available on Patreon, and they're available early release. So if you go on to patreon.com/WFO Radio and you join the tier that unlocks that, now you get early release and no commercials for the WFO interviews. So if you're that guy that hates the commercials and hates the idea that wonderful Marvin Rodak supports WFO Radio at Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com, you can avoid it. There's a method for you to avoid it. Go to patreon.com/WFO Radio, and you will get specialized content, interesting different takes. Like today, I gave my thoughts.
I was going to say, like today, you gave them something special.
Yes.
What, 20 minutes? I saw that.
20 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't get to listen to the show, but I'm a patron, and I get to hear those special stuff you're doing.
It's and only the Patreons get to hear it.
That's right. I'm on the inside.
Monday Patreon Participation Trophy. Because it's about the new NHRA countdown system.
Oh, okay. I get the pun now.
And all of our interviews, and they're commercial free. And you just got to join Patreon, and we'll expand it. Now on that subject, participation trophies. Like you make the countdown now by just going to every race and making 2 qualifying attempts.
Okay.
You make the countdown. And so a lot of people are very angry and upset about this. They're just trying to incentivize participation, right? But that has been called a participation trophy, that you make the countdown, and, something to be said about it. But in the end, like, on balance, you got to incentivize
Yeah, but that's
people.
okay. The NCAA March Madness tournament used to be 32, and then it went up to 64, and now there's like 68, and there's like a playing game for the 7 from 68 spot. So they're almost up to like 70 or 72 now.
Well, exactly.
We keep adding stuff. And as great as everybody says they love an underdog story, none of those underdog teams have a real chance. They'll win a game or two in the first or second round, but once you get down to like, and just to continue with using the March Madness, once you get down to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, it's the same old, it's the usual suspects.
Right, Duke.
There's maybe one,
Gonzaga.
Right, well, and Gonzaga is no longer even one of those teams because now they're one of the better teams. They're always in there.
Right. Well, and
so the reality is, what I'm trying to say is that if somebody just gets into the countdown and, like, let's say, realistically, let's say even forget that, this past year, it would have been what, maybe 11 or 12 guys in the countdown instead of 10?
12.
Oh, okay, look at that. You see, I don't even know this.
No, the number is 12.
Right, well, and it's just
in
that.
funny car and in Top Fuel.
Okay, so 2 extra guys, and those 2 guys would never have won the championship.
No.
Now, while they technically had a chance because they were in it, there's no way they were going to win.
No way. So it's no big deal. It's much ado about nothing. People are just getting aggravated about it's the grievance culture.
Unfortunately, it's this new era of the world we live in with the advent of social media, the anti-social media, where everybody's outraged by everything, and you have to outrage the other guy's outrage because just
the cancel culture.
Outraged is not
enough.
Well,
listen, political correctness is totally run amok. And but see, like this, and so I do a bit on the participation trophy. Like I actually want to attack.
I may listen to that on the way home.
Well, excellent. I want to attack the attack on the participation trophy because I think that people, part of their anti-political correctness outrage, you know what I mean? Like political correctness, people don't like it, but then there is exaggerated outrage to it that is also annoying. Part of the annoying outrage to political correctness is outrage against political correctness, which is this. The participation trophy. Listen, we're incentivizing participation. That's all. And here are a couple of examples where incentivizing participation happens. Like when you enter a 5K run, those people, everybody gets something. They want you to spend your money. It's a business. It's capitalism. We want you to come be in our run. There's 10 runs all around the city on any given weekend, okay? We want you to come to the WFO 5K run. And by coming to the WFO 5K run, you're going to get a goodie bag. And in the goodie bag, you're going to get a bunch of stuff. That's a participation trophy, right? If you wanted to be a real competition, you'd have a run. Only the winner would get the prize. Top 5, get the prize. If you can't be in the top 5, go to work. Go to work. That's not how it works. Let's explore where participation trophies came from. I'm assuming little youth athletics. Why? Because the parents got to bribe the damn kids to do it. They're spending money to go, like to play baseball. It's not free. You don't get to go and play, and there's a bunch of people volunteering so the kids can play for free. You got to pay. So which league are you going to go to? The league where your kid gets nothing? And he goes in there and the team finishes 5th and they just like, see you later, see you next time? Or are you going to go to the league where the kid gets like a little something like, hey, man, you were in our league. We filled out the league. You competed. Here's your thing. Of course, the kid's going to be happy with the thing and more likely to participate next time because of that damn trophy.
Okay.
The market created the participation trophy. The market created the participation trophy. You got to incentivize people to spend money on these competitions, and they want something for their entry. They want something. Just being the winner, only one guy is going to get that. Maybe 2. They want something for participating in your thing, and that's the participation trophy. That's where it came from. Same with this. We want these drivers to go all around the country to all these freaking races and spend $2 million. That's what we want. We got to incentivize them with something. And so if you go to all these races, you make the countdown. Now, you going to win the countdown? You ain't winning nothing. And we explain it.
You might win a round.
You might win maybe. Alan Reinhart explains it. There's a lot of great discussion. And
by the way, my son plays baseball league. And there is no participation league. If you join the league, there's no little reward at the end of the thing. Only the top at the end of
the he's got participation trophies up on his thing.
No, that's when he was in T-ball and intro to baseball.
Yeah.
That they were 3, 4, 5 years old, and they essentially didn't even. They were on teams, but they didn't keep score.
Well, what did he get those trophies for?
The trophies he's got is once he joined the league that he was, I guess, 5 or 6. He's on a team and they play other teams. And at the end of the 10 or 12 or 15 game season, whatever it is, they have a round robin tournament, double elimination.
So every player doesn't get one of those.
And the top 3 teams get a trophy, and that's it.
Oh, well, that's
remember,
I think that's
that
how
I
it should
put him
be.
in sports so that he can learn not to, to lose and not be a sore loser. And then he got on the team, and he's on a team that they didn't lose for like a season and a half.
Right.
Remember that?
And don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not advocating for the participation trophy either. Like I have always had a problem with the concept of being rewarded with something that is similar to what the winner gets, but you're not the winner. I think people should be incentivized. Like, I'm all for incentivizing people to participate. The word trophy is the challenge. Like,
well, I mean, maybe everybody should get the
certificate.
Participation certificate. Like, hey, you performed in this league in 2020.
I'm all about a certificate.
But the trophies are only for first, second, and third place.
Well, exactly, and that's the debate. But does that even happen? I don't know. I think people get certificates. You go enter a car show, you get a placard that you entered in the car show. You get like a little car show plaque.
And if you win the best in show,
trophy.
you get the big trophy, and that's all fair.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Try this
Let's
one
not
here.
act like this isn't happening all the time.
You want me to make people's heads explode? I actually think that in kids' sports, they probably shouldn't even, essentially take score till they're like 10 years old. Like, what's the point? Like the little kids and all that, you just want them to have fun and like the game and get to want to play it. Then once they get to like, 4th, 5th grade, whatever 10 years old
then we start keeping score.
Then at that point, you get in teams where, all right, let's make it more about competitive, whether who wins or loses. But I think up to 10 years old, what's the difference? It doesn't matter at that point whether they're winning or losing.
When you're
We're
adult.
playing to try to teach them how to play the game, really,
right,
and how to get along with other kids. So why not, up until they're 10 years old, we don't even really take score. We could play games and all that, but it doesn't matter who wins.
I'm not against that. I think that's great.
Like the whole point, I've always tried to stress it's like, hey, man, there's no scouts here watching our kids play, man. All right? At this point, we just want to teach each of these kids like how to do things right, the mechanics of learning and helping them to where maybe they actually want to participate in this as they get to junior high school or whatever.
And then once you know how to play,
because that's the thing, like
that's
these
where
kids don't know how to
competition comes
play.
in. Right? You don't
and
even
now
know how
some
to
of them are more advanced and physically better gifted than others, but they still don't know how to play, even the ones that are the better ones. And so in my process, as I've seen this now, as I've been involved in this for a few years with my kid, I honestly think that even now, my kid's 9. He plays in baseball for the last few years. He's been in that competitive league. I generally think that that's kind of doing a disservice to all these kids. They really should, like the coaching should like the coaches shouldn't be involved in trying to piece together the best team to win this league, this tournament.
Exactly.
They should be involved in trying to teach these kids how to actually play baseball.
I agree. Totally, because the player that just happens to be better at 7 years old at that moment is going to get the most attention and playing time.
Do you want your kids peaking in sports at 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, or 13?
No. So, which brings me, the enjoyment of competition and the fun that comes of it and enjoying the competition brings me to where we started, which is the NFL experience and how.
Oh, wow. Let's all segue back to how. By the way, I got to say, it's tough being the best athlete in the family because I'm a little sore today from some of these things.
Listen, I am not in any way sore. So here's what happened, okay? We, there's all these different activities, and Giovanni is there. Sports Radio Vlad is there. Gio's friend Chino is there. Mrs. Gio is there. The Gray is there, and one of Gray's little friends. And they had all kinds of different activities. The first activity that I participated, Gio and Mrs. Gio did obstacle course, and it was very funny because he was losing.
Well, I was actually winning,
but then
until we had to make that turn.
Yeah,
and she was, I guess,
inside lane.
They gave her the preferred lane.
Yeah,
and on that inside lane was considerably shorter because I beat her to that turn, and all of a sudden when I look up, she's in there and at the end of the turn, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, how did this happen?
And so there's this thing that you're supposed to crawl under it.
Correct. So Mrs. Gio beat me out of, once we made the turn, she beat me out to the next turn.
Yes.
Because she was on the inside lane.
So she's winning.
She was winning.
Except she thought that she had to climb over the thing.
Uh-huh.
And so she climbed.
That's because she didn't do her research and stand there watching the other people competing.
No, absolutely.
While we were in line.
So, and you won that one.
And so I won that one. I did.
I was like, all right. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm going to participate in some of these things too. It's pretty fun. So the next thing we got in was the football throw, and there's tires.
Oh, a football throw. That's right.
Yes. And
I
so
almost forgot about that.
Gio takes and he threw.
That's right. Not only that, but I got to go first.
He went first.
That's right. And what did I do on my first shot?
You put it through the tire, and the second one you put 2 through the tire. And they were wounded ducks, bad. But they went through.
Oh, okay. So now, Gio put the football through the tire.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did. He did. That was good. I give you credit. Me, my first one, they gave me the little ball, and I did not like the little ball, and I was off on the little ball. When I got the full-size ball, I put it through the tire. Nice pass. Got it. He
is accurate. That is an accurate statement by Joe.
The little ball was a little weird, you know. It's like, what is this little thing? The full-size ball, put it through there. So we're working our way through all this. And at some point, the concept of running...
Well, we did the 40-yard dash, 10 years ago and went to this, recall?
Yes, and it was a bad crash. Remember, I crashed.
You did
Those
win,
of you
though.
listen,
You did win
won.
that time.
I did win.
But he crashed at the finish line.
I crashed at the finish line. So anyway, the 40-yard dash is there, and people are like, let's do the 40. It's like, I don't know. And they're like, no, we're going to do it. So Gio does the 40 against...
Well, to be fair, we wanted to run the 5 of us against each other, but there's only 4 lanes.
Right.
And so, therefore, that's when you went with the 2 kids.
I went with
and
the 2 little boys.
And I went against Mrs. Gio.
Right. And
which
so
I guess in retrospect, we should have let her run with the 2 kids.
Yeah.
And you and I run. In retrospect.
Exactly. And so, but I wasn't really
had already done a
deal.
thing where you wanted to race against the kids, and they wanted to race against you.
And the kids were challenging me like they had any chance to beat me.
Whole yeah, no, that's what these kids, they don't get it. I've been trying to explain this to the child, like your physical, the fact that I'm this much bigger and this much physically, my legs are longer than yours, you're at a disadvantage.
You have no chance.
You have absolutely
Not yet.
zero
Not
chance.
Yet.
Even though I'm old and slow and fat.
So...
And you have no chance because I am physically bigger, like considerably bigger, like 1.5 feet taller than you.
The advantage that Usain Bolt has on all these other guys. Like he's just covering more ground with his legs. And that's it. So I run against the kids, and I dominate them, and I was hot dogging the whole way down, humiliated.
That is true. Slow. He did.
He's taunting.
He didn't turn around to taunt them, but he did run with his hands, both hands above his head, like in the victory, like saying the field goal is good, essentially.
Yes.
Like that with both hands for like the last 10 yards for sure.
And so, unbeknownst to me, I didn't really understand they were keeping times.
Yes, there was the clock was up there.
Right. So when you ran against Mrs. Gio, you put up a 6.55, and it's like, oh, there's times.
That's right. Well, and actually, I ran Mrs. Gio, and then 2 strangers were in the other 2 lanes.
Yeah, 2 randoms.
And Mrs. Gio and the 2 random strangers were actually beating me. About halfway down.
I saw you turn it on.
When I said, oh, wait a minute, I can't lose. And mind you, to be fair, I was also lugging all the stuff in my pockets, the water bottle, the phone, the wallet. Everybody else emptied their pockets and got semi-serious about this. And then that's when I said, oh, boy, I can't let these people beat us. It beat me. And so I did I did downshift, and I started stretching the legs out. And I pulled out, and by the way, 6.55 is super slow.
Oh, no, I know. But so anyway, so you put up a 6.55 for the 40.
That is correct.
And so my first run when I was
Gio
hot
came
dogging.
in second, and she put a 6.85.
When I was hot dogging against the kids, I ran like a 7-something because I wasn't even trying to. I wasn't doing it. So anyway, now wait, there's a time. Oh. So I'm going to run against myself, against Mrs. Gio, and Gio did not want to run again there.
No, I said I'm not doing it again.
He said he's not doing it again.
Yep, that's it.
So I go and run, and I turn on the jets.
He did.
And I was flying. I obliterated the field, and it was definitely...
But the clock doesn't say that.
It was a 590, 580.
You can claim it was, but...
The clock worker did not...
I think you guys took off too soon, and
no,
the clock hadn't reset or something.
She says go.
Okay, but either way, the clock hadn't reset because when the times came up, it
24
was like 17
seconds.
seconds or
yeah,
something.
No,
right.
it's like
something ridiculous.
Right. Obviously, clock worker error.
But to be fair,
so at that point,
when we set times, I set a faster time than you, and that's all we have. And I have documented evidence.
Yes, you do. Which is why, though, I did not make it about that. I made it about sportsmanship, because I said, "No, man, we got to get back out there and we got to run. I got a challenge. I challenged you directly, and you ducked me.
Nope, no more.
You ducked me.
Dude, I ran out there. I ran my 6:55.
Yeah, I know what it feels like to be a boxer and some glitch.
No,
I
man.
obviously ran faster than you.
You posted time out there.
Fastest time of the day.
There it is. Beat it.
Put on, right. And I said, no, man, let's just go head to head. Let's forget these clocks and the nonsense and the clockwork. I'll run again and she messes up again. You know what I mean? I run again and she messes up again. And now I'm on my 6th time. You keep messing up. I don't know why. Right? No way, man. Let's both get on the track. Let's drag your junk out there and let's go. 40-yard dash. Let's go. First to the stripe. Takes it. How about it, Gio? Let's go. Let's get it on. And what's this guy say?
I already ran.
No, he ducked me.
Go out there and run and beat 6:55 is what I told you.
But you ducked me, exactly.
There's no ducking.
That was exactly what it was. It was a low point for you. You ducked me, man. You should have said, let's go,
like
let's go
I said,
run.
It's tough being the best athlete in the family, winning every event that we had.
This is where I quote Michael Phillips. Come on and take your whooping. Come on and take your whooping. You didn't. You wouldn't take your whooping.
That is exactly what happened, though.
You wouldn't.
Joe is
no.
right.
Well, it is. It's all correct.
Gio
he
ran
did post the 6:55.
Wow, that is some slow
did post
time.
The official
that
best,
was the
quickest
best time that we posted
number
in the family.
Yes. No, that is true. But when the push came to shove, and I said, "Come on out there, let's go head to head, take your whooping."
Come on.
You ducked me. All right, it's okay. I know that I ran definitely a low 5, high 4 on that one run. I was.
Okay. Here.
No, I think I cracked the 5.
I will bet you everything I own in life that you cannot run a sub 5 second.
No, I know that for a fact.
40-yard
I
dash.
know for a fact. I can't.
Okay.
No, I think I cracked the 5s though, like 5:99.
I stand the better chance of being able to run 3 miles nonstop than you running a sub 5 second 40.
No doubt. No,
Okay.
I know that's impossible.
Okay, I just want to,
I know.
and I'm not trying to make you look bad or feel bad, but let's be honest here.
I
don't know that you might have ever run a sub 5 second 40.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no. I mean, we don't have that kind of speed.
No, never.
Even in our fastest at 18, 20 years old when we were in like.
And
I
was a speedy kid, but not the speediest kid. No way.
Yeah.
No way. Like, I don't know. Maybe I even might remember like a 5.2. Somewhere back in the president's physical fitness
I would say
test
a
days.
low 5, right? And wasn't it a 50-yard dash back then though that we used to have to run? It wasn't a 40. I think 40 became popular like with the football.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I think it was.
I think
50,
we used to run the 50-yard
know.
dash.
But anyway, it doesn't matter, man. You ducked me. I know what it's like to be in boxing now when you know that you've got a superior talent and the person won't square up against you. And now look, the NFL experience is over.
Well, it's technically not, but
we ain't gonna go
we're
back.
not going back.
No,
not when the foreigners get here next week. Not the foreigners, but the outside, the out-of-towners.
Well, the teams are here. The media day was going on.
Well, they got here yesterday, I think. We saw that.
They were out at Marlins Park and doing the whole thing. It was great stuff. But we had a great time at the NFL experience. It was very fun. And I did the obstacle course with Mrs. Gio, and I had a big crash, but I still won. And I wiped a bunch of skin off my leg that apparently that fake grass, if your bare skin slides on it, it just takes the skin right off.
Yeah, it's not as terrible as the old artificial turf, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not grass.
It really, like, I have a skinned knee, but I crashed and I still won though.
It's called a rug burn.
It is exactly what it is.
Exactly what
That's
it is.
exactly what it is. It's a rug burn, except a vicious rug burn. I was bloodied. But we had a fun time. It was a great time. Hopefully you all will enjoy the Super Bowl. All right, that's all I got. Thursday is my birthday. Saturday's Gio's birthday. We're all enjoying our best lives. We're all like thinking about Kobe and saying, let's try to enjoy the time we are here. Same is true for all you folks out there, hopefully. And we really appreciate you guys listening to this nonsense show. Like, this was extreme stream of consciousness here. Like, this was just, from topic to topic to topic. Got NHRA Nitro. Got a great week. Don't forget the Fantasy League. WFO Radio 2019. Password WFO 2019. If you've never been in the league before, try it. DriverGroupGame.com.
Join it. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
If you remember to set your teams and all that.
The ridicule is part of the fun.
It is. And you know what? You might be lucky and get your name on this beautiful trophy.
And I'm just saying to everybody that
Mr.
Mr. Fantasy NASCAR, if he wins again, there's going to be some people that I blame in this room. That's all I'm saying. Let's bring some A games this year, fellas. Work backwards.
I beat you.
Yeah,
I beat you at the end of the season. I want to hear that about bringing the A game. As terrible of a season as I had, I ran you down at the end.
Mediocrity.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you very much, everybody. All our great sponsors. Remember the Patreon. Interesting stuff on there.
Tell them the sponsors now. Come on, tell them about Frank Hall.
No, they know about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and the Dragster Adventure and how much fun it is. And they know about Marvin Rodak and his amazing coffee and hot sauce and spice.
Tell them not
rub.
to be losers like me and you and go
Don't
get a career
be
at
a
Samtech.
loser and go get a career at Samtech. Don't try to make a living with podcasts. It's a bad idea. They don't even want to listen to the spots. Go to samtech.edu and you won't have to take that nonsense. Magic Dry US, the official organic absorbent of the NHRA, and Total Seal piston rings. Have you all heard the Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal podcast? You got to do it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's called Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal, hosted by me. And I think if you're into engines and stuff, you will love it. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you. Happy Super Bowl week. WFO.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Yeah, welcome to the party.
I love WFO Radio.